I also would like to welcome you all. I'll read from Whispers from Eternity. Demand for balance. O Spirit, teach me to pray and worship incessantly with deepest concentration. O Spirit, balance my meditation with devotion and purify my devotion with all surrendering love unto Thee. So I was remembering the story of Namdev, which I've always liked that story. It's a very beautiful one, and I forget who, it was Yogi Ramaya, which gave that story. He was fully liberated, gave that story to Paramhansa Yogananda, and or told that story to him. But the interesting part of it is that Namdev was seeing visions of Krishna regularly and for some period of time in his little local village temple. And yet, he was not free of ego. And so they had a gathering. I won't tell you the whole story because we've heard it many times. And if you can't want to see it, it's in the path, the new path. At any rate, but Krishna appeared to Namdev again after Namdev had been confronted with the fact that he had pride still. And Krishna just looked at him and he said, well, I'm sorry, but there is a crack in your pot, and I can't do anything about that. You have to have a guru to do that. And so, interestingly enough, Namdev was given the name of the guru, and he went to another village, but Divine Mother wasn't through with him yet. And so he went to this other village and asked about this man's name. And people there laughed and they said, oh, him? Well, yeah, you'll probably find him down by the temple somewhere, but just really derogatory. And so Namdev went to the temple, and Namdev was, remember, well respected as a saint in his time, but he still had that crack. And so he went to the temple, and he didn't see anybody there except there was an old man, all disheveled and laying down in the temple, not only laying down, which you would never want to do, but he had his feet on the Shiva Lingam, which was the altar. And Namdev just reacted. He said, my God, what are you doing? You've got your feet on the altar. And the old man just looked at him and he said, well, my son, I'm old and it's hard for me to move my feet. Can you place them somewhere else? And so Namdev picked up the feet and moved them over, and right as he was about to put them down, he saw there was another Shiva Lingam. And so he thought, oh, well, that's just by chance. So he picked them up again, and nope, there was another Shiva Lingam. And so finally he realized that this old, disheveled-looking man was, in fact, his guru. And the guru then stood up, full of power, and said, so Namdev, you need to understand in a deeper way, and I can help you. And Namdev was very happy with that. But it just reminded me that, visions, it's like you're not there yet. I mean, that can be a nice encouragement, but it's not when you're finished. When you're finished, you don't remember who you are. You're gone, You're one because you're one with God. Yeah, so there is no you to be finished anymore even. But also, I was thinking about just the context, but as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God. And so receiving God is a big part of how we're going to ever be free. We have to be able to really receive. And I thought, it's not just once. The receiving is going on and on and on. And what gets in the way of receiving the presence of God, the Christ consciousness? Well, karma is a big thing. And Namdev had the karma to still have some ego left, not surprising, even though he was well respected. And so, but I was remembering recently that there's 3 levels of karma. And I thought, you know, it's really important so that we don't get discouraged on this very long distance run, meaning millions of lifetimes, thousands of lifetimes, maybe we're down to a few hundred, but we still have to keep going. And so how do we deal with karma in a way that we can understand that it's happening, but in the way that's appropriate for the kind of karma it is? And so, and this is talked about, and we've talked about it frequently here, but the first level of karma is, and it's talked about in the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, is it's a light, more, you might say, sattvic kind of karma. It's lighter, and the Gita describes it as a kind of karma that you can just poof, have a nice meditation and it's gone. Maybe it comes back again, but it's still on that level. It doesn't take your real full attention and hard work. The next level of karma is more heavy, more obstinate, more unrelenting. And it's the kind of karma in the Gita, the example is that it's like when you have a mirror and it has rust on it. So you have to really work at it. You know, it's there, you notice it, and you really have to continue working on it. And even that can be a little bit discouraging, but you know there's hope. You know, the mirror's there and you'll get rid of the rust at some point. But then the third kind of karma, and remember, these are each levels of karma, and we have a lot of different kinds of karma, but levels of karma that prevent us from receiving the Christ consciousness, from receiving God, receiving the light. And that karma is the one that's really important to remember about and somehow identify in your own life. Everybody here will be different with that, you know, of how it is. But that level of karma, it's said that the example is, it's like a baby in the womb. It's simply going to take 9 months, and you can't do anything about it between now and then. It has a term. And so with that, it's important to kind of try to start identifying in your own life what kind of karma are you dealing with? Because sometimes you'll think, wow, it just feels like it will never go away. And it may be true that it won't go away for a long time. So, but we have to keep putting energy into it. The baby in the womb even still has to have energy. It has to have life force and, you know, that example. But it's something where we want to be just aware of what we're dealing with so that we don't feel this is never ending and I feel like I just am going to give up because it's never ending. I was remembering I had a very nice conversation with a friend here, and it was, somehow it really struck me because in that person's life there was a karmic event that happened, and it was massive, and that person happened to be the one left who was going to have to deal with it in a family situation. And so it was unrelenting and ongoing. And so at a certain point, my friend unexpectedly ran into Swami Kriyananda when she was out. And she just blurted out to him, I don't think I can deal with this. I don't think I'm capable of doing this, meaning now or even tomorrow, you know. I don't think I can do this. And she said that because there wasn't a solution, there wasn't something that Swami Kriyananda could have done about it, but she said that he looked at her with deep compassion and with love, and he said 4 words: you will get stronger. Meaning, if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you will get stronger. That was meant for her in particular, because she had the capability of hearing that and of dealing with it. And she said to me, I knew I could put one foot in front of the other. I didn't know about the rest of the life, you know, but I knew I could do that. But interesting that Swami Kriyananda said to her, you will get stronger. And so I think that's a very important thing to remember when we're dealing with different kinds of karma and situations. We don't know what all of our karma is, what it's about, when it will strike, but we can look at how can I deal with this. And so, you know, if you sit down to meditate and it seems like, oh, okay, well, it looked strong, but wasn't a big deal. Great, great. The second kind of karma, you might look at it and think, okay, I've got to get serious now about this event or this happening that I need to deal with in myself, around me, whatever it is. And so we deal with that. But then there's that level of karma that it's kind of like a life test. And it's something that we know we need to keep giving it energy. It's not that you just wait for the baby to be born. No, you have to keep giving it energy, but you know it's a very long distance run. And so you pace yourself, in other words. You find the strength to move ahead one day, and the next day, and the next. And so for all of us, that's what God is asking of us, is that we are there to receive the light, to receive the Christ consciousness, and to deal with our karma. When the choir sang, "Brave were the people," we have to really remember why they were brave and what it was about, and why they were the great warriors. It's each of us here. If you're on a path of self-realization, the whole point is looking at the ego and how to dissolve it, how to enlarge it, how to diminish it. But it's a battle to the death, spiritually speaking, because either the ego wins and you remain identified with your body and you go on to incarnation after incarnation, or you deal with karma in consistency, and you realize little by little. How do you know if it's happening? Well, because little by little you feel more inwardly free. It's very simple. It's not about visions. It's not about what gift you get. The gift is that you feel step by step more inwardly free. And I was also thinking about just the fact that as we go along, because the path of self-realization it's a long distance run, and it's about liberation. We're here to move as far in that direction as we possibly can. And so all along we have to also be making adjustments to our attunement, how to take it deeper, to our attitudes, to our sadhana, to whatever it is, whatever it is that's going on with the microphone. Anyway, we have to keep making adjustments, and just keep in mind that every time you make an adjustment, this is why New Year's Eve resolutions don't work. Because, and we have to know this, because we're yogis, we have techniques, we have greater awareness of life and how to deal with it. Every time you make an adjustment to go deeper, you have to, it takes an act of will. Maybe not big, but it takes an act of will each time. Otherwise, it's not going to happen, because habit just comes in and you just, boom, you're right back there. But little constant acts of will to help you resolve your life, to go deeper, and to really make it real, and not to be discouraged by any of it, because we are all on this great path which is leading toward freedom, and after many, many, many lifetimes. So the one thing I'd like to close with is Swami Kriyananda, in the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, he says in a certain place that we really need to be careful of what our expectations are around sadhana. And so sadhana and our life, you know. So I've just said, you know, little acts of will, and then you feel more inwardly free. Well, maybe you're not feeling that, you know. Maybe that's not happening. And so we need to adjust our expectations to the way that it really can work for us moving forward. And so he said, don't look at ways that, you know, what am I getting back from my sadhana? Visions, or feeling really blessed, or whatever. And it was curious, because he went on about it, and he said, you know, you've done a lot in your life. And in fact, I remember sitting, and someone was talking to Swami Kriyananda, and I was there as well. And at one point he said, you know, you can be doing, and he said this, he was just relaxed, he was seated in a big cozy chair, and he said, you know, big smile, he said, you can be doing everything right, and it's not up to you, it's up to God's grace. In the end, up to God's grace. So, you know, we just think, oh, well, if I just get everything perfect, then it'll happen. Not in that way. The timing of the Guru, the timing of God, is different from our rational minds, interestingly enough. So, but as we move along, and the second part of that phrase, but as many as received him gave he the power to realize God, to become one with God. And so as we engage in our sadhana, in our practices, in our attitudes and everything, we're gaining that power. And that's the power that allows you to keep taking one step forward again and again and again. So anyway, just to remember that Swami also gave this very interesting example. He said, when someone is on a path, you know, I said path of liberation, wow, we're really going to get there. He said, it's not like climbing Mount Everest, where, you know, you start out at the beginning, and as you get higher, it gets more difficult. You know, it really is, oh no, you know, do I have enough oxygen or whatever to go to the peak of the mountain? He said, as you progress spiritually, there's a feeling, and there needs to be, and there is, a feeling of deepening relaxation. Yeah. And he said once, he said, think about relaxing up. But there's this feeling of deepening relaxation to where in the very end of all the practices that we do, all the meditations and the songs and the, you know, the sadhana of all different kinds and connecting with people and satsang and everything, that there's this feeling of approaching oneness, where if we continue with all those practices, then in the end, what happens is that if you stay focused on doing and not on what you're receiving, and that's a real key point, focused on doing and not on what you're receiving, then at a certain point, the doing, doer, and done become one. And then you're not thinking about it anymore, because you're one with the infinite. You're one with God. So it's a different mindset that we understand as we go along. And again, deepening, making deeper spiritual commitments, very, very important. But they have to be real and at the right time. And so we can put energy into them. We take a vow and we put energy into making that vow real. But then we relax into oneness with the divine, and we're not thinking about things anymore, because we're there, we're one. And that's really the goal of the spiritual path and the path of self-realization. But it takes adjustment and a mindset that's different than achieving a goal that's up on the top here. It's relaxing into oneness with everything.
Brave were the people who lived in these hills. Brave the great warriors who confronted the foe. To defend what is holy, to defend what is true. Our Lord on mankind did this duty bestow.
have a love who's far away, far away, far away. I have a love who's far away, farther away than the stars, and yet she's stolen my heart away, heart away, heart away. And yet she's stolen my heart away, farther away than the stars. Keep me not bound here, teach me to fly, far from earth's madness, free ere I die. Keep me not bound, no, teach me to fly, farther away than the stars. There's nothing here nearly so dear, nearly so dear, nearly so dear. There's nothing here nearly so dear as her laughter